What up? Happy Sunday. I'm in a sharing mood. Went to church. Got to take Malia with me. Anytime I can take one of the kids with me, if they decide they want to go, I really appreciate that. So, I was reading today's Just for Today, and it's about learning to love ourselves. And I figured, you know what? I'm gonna chime in on that because I've done this before. So, like a year ago, I talked about this particular Just for Today. But a year later, what's that look like for me? And so, learning to love myself. Love is an action word, like it's not a feeling. Although it sure feels good, but it is an action word. So what do I do when I say I love myself? Aside from, like quitting, surrendering, I love myself enough to do that. Asking for help, I love myself enough to do that. Putting all these hours in the gym, I love myself enough to do that. Writing, sharing, I love myself enough to do that. I can continue to go on. It's not just sitting there and looking in a mirror and saying I love myself, although that's part of it too. I have to constantly do that too. I'm the type of person that needs reinforcement from others. Let me rephrase that. I'm the type of person that really wants reinforcement from others. I don't need it, but I feel like I need it. The validation of others got me back out many times. I used to deny that and say, no, I didn't go back out for that. Yeah, I did. I was so worried about what other people were thinking that it was just madness. So I'd self-medicate throughout the whole week. I was so worried about what other people were thinking that I didn't get a mental break, and then I would use and then I wouldn't think about it until the next day, and then it was just off to the races again. So I don't do that anymore, and that's another way I love myself. Treating myself, going out to eat with myself, doing things with my kids, because helping others. I know that sounds weird. When you help somebody else, you're loving yourself. But when you help somebody else, it helps you. If you're not doing it for anything in particular, if you're doing it because you're just going to be there for other people, you build a level of self-confidence up. And that level of self-confidence is how much you love yourself. If you really want to know how much you love yourself, how confident are you? And there's a fine line between being in love with yourself and loving yourself. And I think that being in love with yourself is the ego, and that's the feeling. The action, what we do for ourselves, how we take care of ourselves, that's a different story. And the more and more you do that, the more confident you are, the less cocky you are. Although I am a cocky son of a bitch, but the less cocky you are, all the time. And I love myself today. And I loved reading that today. And I thought about it. What am I doing for myself today? When I ask myself, what am I doing for my recovery today? I'm asking myself, what am I doing for myself today? So ask yourself, what are you doing for yourself today? If all you do is go to work, take care of your kids, and then distract yourself with TV, how much of yourself are you doing for yourself? You do that over and over again for 10, 14, 16 years. Eventually you're sitting there by yourself wondering what the fuck happened to yourself. And today I don't do that. I saw this thing, it said having abs in your 40s are overrated. And then below it said feeling like you're in your 20s and your 40s is overrated. And I don't have abs, I'm working on them, but I thought about that. I feel better than I did in my 20s. I work my fucking ass off for that though. Look at my little man sleeping. He's in the little bottom corner there. Took him out to a place called Left Bank, which is just the most amazing pastry place you can go to. If you ever come to Washington and you're in the Olympia area, go to Left Bank. There's no anonymity when it comes to Left Bank. But, you know, it's about what are we doing for ourselves? If you're at like day one and you're walking into a treatment center, you fucking love yourself. If you're at day 0 and you're walking to a treatment center, you love yourself. If you're doing things that are outside the realm of comfortability to improve your life for personal growth, you love yourself. Loving ourselves is hard fucking work. It's so much easier to do what I said a second ago. You know, go to work, feed the kids, make sure the clothes are ready, and then go to sleep or watch TV. You know, and what's the difference between watching TV and picking up a good book? IQ, I don't know. But they're the same thing to me. You know, unless it's a book for, you know, I don't know. It's a distraction. What are you doing for yourself? And I'm not saying don't, you know, like reading is important, you know, like, and obviously there's something different versus reading and watching TV. But what I'm saying is if you're not doing something for yourself, you know, like do things for yourself. And it doesn't have to always be for yourself where you're just so selfish that like nobody's being taken care of. But keep in mind that like it's that whole philosophy of the airplane. When it's going down, the masks come out. Do you put the mask on your kid first or yourself? You know, we tend to try to put the masks on other people first. And then all of a sudden we pass out. And so I'm keeping this under 10 minutes because I felt like, well, one, he's sleeping. I got to carry him in the house. And two, you know, it's if you're doing something that is different and you're working towards changing your life and you're tired of the cycles and you're tired of the like day in, day out, same old fucking shit. It doesn't have to be drugs. It can just be the day in, day out, tasteless life where the music sucks and the food tastes, there's no taste to the food, and now everything else seems almost, the monotony of all of it seems like you're just existing. Do something for yourself. Get out of the relationship, get out of the environment, get out of the drugs, get out of the alcohol, get out of whatever it is that you have going on in your life that you feel is holding you back. Because I can tell you from personal experience that the way I feel today, I've never felt like in my life. And the things that come my way today, well, they feel that much better when they do. So love yourself like you would. Take care of yourself like you would a sick loved one. Look at your life. If this was your kid, if this was your daughter, if this was your son, if this was your aunt, if this was your sister, and they were like this, however you are, whatever place you're in, and you were in a good place, how would you take care of them? And then take care of yourself that way. That's my morning message for Sunday. I hope whoever watches this, it helps. And just remember, you have what it takes. Bye.